if you have passion in what you do, money will follow. Always will follow. I don't care what anyone says. Passion brings money. 23, I did 44 million. Yeah, it's the rush. It's not even about the money you're making. It's the feeling you get from doing it. Because it's got to be beneficial to the client. So that's the thing. You got to move with your heart, not your mind, and not the money. Always. So it was rough around then. There was bullets flying everywhere, me dodging, bullets running. I'm the only Asian kid in the black community.
Wow.
You know, so that's kind of the upbringing, right? You know, that led to just me failing in school, in high school especially, like starting high school, like junior high to high school. So I just kind of gave up. I quit. I dropped out. Okay. And then I was like, you know, I'm trying to change my life. So I'm not a bad person. It was just
this is
the
situation,
surroundings
the situation,
me, which everyone has their own, right? Everyone has their own problems. Everyone has their own situation. But I was only making $5 an hour.
Like,
no, I had no idea what to do. Like, you know, I knew I needed to make money. What is it? You know, I've tried a lot of things, like, and so people notice you when you're doing the right thing and you're doing things that actually are growing. Right. They will reach out.
Right.
They're curious.
Right.
And it's what you present to them afterwards, right? At that point, I was like, all right, it's time to fold it. So I stopped distributing because I didn't want to lose. I was making, just in the gel distribution, about $15,000 net income from that alone. And then the training was 10, and usually I had 2 to 3 trainings a month.
So that's at least like almost 50,000.
Yeah, and then my business was doing 700,000 gross, so I was doing about 300,000 net income from that.
So you're probably almost netting $500,000.
Yeah, and then 24 right now, we're at 62 million. So far, so we still got a lot to go.
60 million in real estate. Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Deletekings podcast. I go by the name of Delete King 850, and I got here with me.
You already know Deletekings CVO.
Yeah, man. So I got a very special episode for you today. We got a heavy hitter in the building, right? Somebody who's huge in the real estate space. Got his own show and everything. Not a lot of people got their own show when you're doing real estate at this magnitude. He's the leader, management of a whole lot of realtors, brokers, everything. He's actually going to introduce himself, let you know what he does. So, you know, he can just introduce himself the right way.
Hey, I'm Michael Kang. I work with SpaceMatch Inc. That's my company. We have 27 agents within Coldwell Banker's reach, which I guess if you put it together, it's like a global luxury branding. So we are number 2 regionally, and I believe we're number 10 nationally for all of Coldwell Banker.
Oh, wow. That's heavy hitter.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we got in the building.
Top
so
10.
Yeah, y'all in for a good one. We're gonna learn some things about real estate, how he got to this level, this magnitude, like, because it's amazing to reach those heights at the end of the day. Real estate, a lot of people want to get into real estate, so maybe you can let us know how you got into real estate and everything and where it all started. I know we've been chatting a little bit to really see where you came from. I was shocked. I was like, whoa, you gotta say that for the podcast, man. We're gonna get into it, you know, and really let the people know like where you originally came from. Like how did it all start for you? Like
the beginning.
Well, let's see. Didn't have a good upbringing, you know. Divorced parents, mom left when I was 4. I had a stepmom when I was 5, so I don't remember my mom at all. I don't recall her. I don't even know her face. Wow. So then where
were you born?
I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in the hood, right?
Oh, snap. Like South Side, West Side or something?
So it was like, if you know where Agatide and Hazel is, Leland and Beacon, so uptown area. Back in the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So it was rough around then. There was bullets flying everywhere, me dodging, bullets running. I'm the only Asian kid in the black community.
Wow.
You know, so that's kind of the upbringing, right? But, you know, as my family, my dad was a postman when he came from Korea to America. So he was always working, you know, and there was that divorce that happened, and then I was with the stepmom that was very abusive. So, like, I always had this, like, had a family kind of orientation, right?
Right.
Most. Everyone has their own struggles. That was my struggle. And then fast forward, a couple of years, I left the house. I was 13 years old. I was 13 years old. I left the house. I went back. So I guess going backwards one more time, my parents moved to the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
It was Buffalo Grove.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then I met some friends there in Buffalo Grove that were from the city.
Right.
Right. I had some support now. I felt connected because I'm from the city.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Right away.
They were in gangs and all that stuff. Vice lords, by the way. So
Okay.
I was part
Vice
of that
lords.
whole mix.
Yo, when he said that, I was like, I would have never.
Right. Like
guessed.
what? You was with the Vice Lord?
Yeah, I was
wow.
involved, and it was more because I didn't have family. Right. That was it. They were my family.
It was your
Became-
early
like,
teenage years.
Early teenage years.
It became a
12,
brotherhood
13,
a little bit.
14, 15, 16.
And were there other people older than you or the same age?
So my best friend still till this day, and he actually works with me in my businesses.
Oh, I love
Helps
it. Wow.
me out. He is my age. He's 78. So I was born in 78. He's 78.
What was so interesting about that lifestyle? I mean, like, what was there to gain from being a part of that community?
Family.
Okay.
More so they had my back. I
Right.
didn't have family to have my back.
Yeah. It ends up being a brotherhood.
We
You know,
was a
they-
broken family, right?
Right.
And that broken family, there was nothing. No love, dad's always working, stepmom's beating me. So I never had confidence, zero confidence, calling me stupid when I was young, right? So
Wow.
as a child, when you're called stupid, what happens to you?
You start to
You
believe
think
it.
you're
Yeah.
stupid,
Yeah.
right?
Right
So
away.
I was like doing well in school somehow without being able to do homework at home. I was still getting good grades, but I couldn't sustain that as the classes got harder, right? Because
Right.
you do need to study.
Of course.
Right.
And, that led to just me failing in school, in high school especially, like starting high school, like junior high to high school. So I just kind of gave up. I quit. I dropped out. So I didn't.
What grade was this?
I was 13. Yeah, I was 13.
So like
and a half.
freshman or right before freshman?
Right at freshman. Yeah.
Right at freshman.
I
okay.
dropped out. Yeah, I dropped out. I got into some mess. Got locked up as a juvenile.
Wow.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
We're going to get it. We're going to get
And
into it.
I got my GED in St. Charles.
Okay.
And then I was like, I'm trying to change my life. So I'm not a bad person. It was just
This is
the
situation.
surroundings
Yeah, the
around me,
situation.
which everyone has their own, right? Everyone has their own problems. Everyone has their own situation. But that was mine. Mine was problems with family, problems with people around me, no support. So, but my mind is telling me I need to do something, right? I need to do something better. I got my GD somehow, some way I got it while I was in there. Came back out. I was 18 when I got out.
Wow.
So
you was in there from 13 to 18?
No. 16.
16 to 18.
Yeah. So the
2 years.
They have to let you go, right?
Yeah, because you're not juvenile no more. You're an adult.
Oh,
You're 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's how that works.
It's juvenile. Yeah, the
and
detention center.
now I'm an adult,
Yeah.
18.
So it's hard. So when you're younger, let's say you commit a crime or something, it's hard to get locked up past 18, or somebody can still get time.
No, it depends.
well,
It depends on
you
your
become
crime.
an adult now, so now you're going to
They'll just
Cook
move you
County.
to a different facility.
You're going to Cook
yeah.
County now,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You're 26 in California.
But yeah, man. So do you remember, like, so we don't have to describe
Backtrack.
what you did get in trouble for or whatever. Was there anything that dramatic?
Well, at that time, I mean, now it's legal, right?
Oh,
Really?
okay,
It's
okay.
legal now.
Okay, so what? Oh, it's one of the. Oh.
Now you look back, you're like,
Ah.
like this is crazy.
Right.
Did you get out early or just the exact time you served it?
I got out at the exact time. I have multiple accounts of it, so
Wow.
that's kind of I think my career in sales.
Oh, see, hey, you start.
I started somewhere, right?
I met with a person I might be doing a contractor with as far as being their content creation team. He owns a dispensary called Sugar Leaf. And that's kind of his starting the thing, and in the back then, he's like, man, I was just a guy that just was trying to get it how I got it.
At the end of the day, any product per se, right?
Yeah.
Any
Right.
product is sales.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's the right way and the wrong way. Of course, we're young at that time, so
course.
we don't know what's right and wrong, really. And we're so young.
Yeah.
And it's not like you could go out and be like, hey, I'm gonna sell that bottle of whatever, water bottle.
Exactly.
Right? And know how to sell it.
Right.
But,
It's like human instinct. You know, you got the kids on the...
It's
on
a
the
demand, a supply and a demand thing, right? You know what everyone wants in your age bracket, so what do? Right?
Go
You
get it.
sell.
Yeah.
And you sell something that's not as common, right? It's
Yeah.
a little harder to get.
Right.
And I think that kind of throughout my whole life was sales, right? Like I'm always trying to find the next thing to sell.
Right.
But yeah, it was the wrong thing,
So when you turned your life around, like you got out, what was the first thing your head was at? Because you managed to get your GED. So like, how did you know what to focus on next?
Like, did you go back at all to that, or once you was?
Yeah, there's a lot more to the story. So like I got out and I'm, got the GED so I could go to college, and at the time there's like those Pell Grants and I didn't have family to support me for school.
Yeah.
So I did the whole like getting the Pell Grants and the public aid to get to school. So I did that. I finished 2 years of it, got my associates at the time. And once I got that, but during that time, right, we're in college now.
Oh yeah.
So what party favors?
Yeah.
In my mind, I needed to make money, but I needed to study really hard too because I don't have support and I don't have a dedicated place to study because I'm always floating around, moving from apartment to apartment because I'm kind of living alone and sometimes I can't even afford my apartment.
Right. Ain't no help, no support, nothing.
Sometimes
No
I'm
lean
sleeping
back.
in my friend's house with their family and you're just floating around, trying to find your way in this world, right?
Right.
And so I started selling stuff again, but this time it was party favors, it was X,
the uppers that people give you,
I
nice
try,
and loose and
I
have
don't
fun.
ever want to harm nobody,
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I mean, I went to the route of like testing things, to make sure it wasn't.
It was real or
the crazy stuff laced in there, and it's really crazy.
Wow.
Stuff.
That's one way to test.
so you're
it's
like, hey, I'm gonna see if it's fentanyl.
You're
Oh, it's not fentanyl. Like,
They have test kits.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
they got
okay,
test. I was
okay,
like,
okay. I thought you were
test
just-
the product.
let's see what
Like,
happens.
you actually alive?
No, it's pure MDMA. It turns purple, right?
Okay. Boom. All right. So you was really
really
testing
customer
it.
service,
Yeah.
like quality,
You don't want anyone to
exactly on your
go
watch, especially
on your
from
watch,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
But it was party favors, so you're just having fun with your friends. But yes, again, it's not the best thing to do. I sort of kind of fell into that trap of doing it myself and going to the rave parties and having a lot of fun, but making money at the same time again. And
What type of money are we talking? Like, is it?
Was it enough for school? Like it could keep you in school, or was
got
it
me in
more?
School, it gave me 3 cars.
3 cars? Okay, like nice cars? Like,
Nice cars.
Yeah,
in
bro.
Cash.
Yeah.
word?
I
Bro.
had like 13 people working around me. So it was all
And this is in
networking.
college, right?
Yeah, it's a network.
In college, I went to the University of Dubuque, and I literally one of my roommates, football player, and I even mention no names. We would all be chilling, all in a group, all in an apartment. He'd be like, "Hey, I'll be back." Okay. 10 minutes later, came back with like 15,000. Was like, "Hey, y'all trying to go out?" Like, huh? What you just do? Oh yeah, everybody. We're on a closed campus. Everybody needed something. He took one little tour around campus. Everyone met him how they needed to meet him. And came back with 15 bands like it was nothing. I was like, oh my God.
And you're not the one moving it, right? You have other people moving it. So it's the same thing in business too, right? Like there's the head, there's the people that run
everybody
it. and then
play their role.
Yeah, there's different.
Everybody
and
getting paid.
In any business, it's the same thing.
And he had 13. So he was like doing interviews and you determine if they get trustworthy or not.
I mean, and it's more risk, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, but you have to be true to yourself and true to the people too. I mean, it's all a trust thing, definitely a trust thing.
So you're doing like volume, because like, I mean, 13 people alone. I mean, like, so like, wow.
Yeah, and
Well,
they were
like,
going
the
to
school's
the
big. School was
nightclubs and all that stuff, and they're the ones holding the bag, not me.
Right.
So
Was it as glamorous as it is in the movies, or is like?
it can be, yeah. I mean, you can make a lot of money. I mean, do I have anything to show for it? Not after I got locked up again. Yeah, they strip you of everything, right? Especially when you get to volume, right? They freeze everything.
What do you think your height was? Because like, were you using regular bank accounts or something, like, or you just kept it?
Some because we were filtering it,
Okay.
the money, right? And we were like creating businesses with it, right, at first. And I realized that's not the right way to go, right? So,
Right.
yeah, I guess per week it was like 40 to 50,000 coming in, and that's because 13 people,
Is putting in that work.
it's a numbers game, right? It's how many you sell versus how much can you sell it for.
Right. Over that period, 50,000 a week. Yo, that's almost like almost touching 200.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Oh, my
and
goodness.
that's like college years, and you're just young, stupid, and flashing your money
Bro,
around.
like I said, do you
Then
understand?
start
College
getting-
kids, they will up that money.
Yeah.
Even if for Adderall, bro, they'll go crazy.
Yeah.
It's a gold mine for real. They calling their parents like, "Hey, mom, I need this. I got some books."
Okay, but
It's not that.
I hear the same story every time. Like it doesn't last too long. Like
It doesn't.
you ended up you got caught up. Or?
I got arrested a few times, but I bonded out. Probably got 6 different accounts, right, of getting
possession
caught.
or whatever,
Yeah,
everything.
but they never caught me with really anything. It was just cases, because I never had anything.
Of course.
The last time. So, this is why it's always never worth it. One of my friends put marked money in my house
Oh,
over something he did on his own that he got in trouble for of his own stuff.
wow.
So
He was trying to
again,
reduce his time or something. He had to give up a
correct.
name or
And
something.
Everybody knows that's in this world, right? That's
Right.
what happens.
Yep.
Someone tricks on you and these
Try to
things
get
happen.
less time for themselves.
Yeah. So it happened to me, and I never thought it would. You always think you're like God when you're in this
Untouchable,
mode,
yeah.
but you're not. And when that happened, is like, okay, damn, I'm locked up again for a long time. I
But they
had a good
never
lawyer.
they never had you in the same spot as a product or something.
No, only the last time with the money. So the
And it
money
was just
is
marked.
like
Money was
product.
marked. It's like product. Yeah. That's
That's
their other
the
way.
hammer. Yeah, that's how they get you as a hammer. You're stuck.
Because you couldn't define where you couldn't.
Well, so the police marked the money, right? And they already documented it, stamped it.
Oh,
and then
the
money-
serial number.
bro,
Yeah,
they-
and then
when
when
they
they
were
find it in your house, they already know that transaction happened, even though I wasn't there.
They
for that
know
transaction,
exactly. They know
it's
what it
still
was
inside my
because they
house.
marked it. It's like almost like wearing a wire. Hey, we're gonna go mark this dollar. Wherever this dollar goes, that's where it was meant to go there.
My
you know?
college apartment with some roommates, we got raided, and that was the last of me at that point.
So this is route number 2. You got to do time or something, or
Yeah, I did 5. Yeah,
Okay.
5
Jeez,
years.
yeah.
And then now I'm in my, like, what is it, like 26, 27 now when I got back out. But I did go into college in there again. Right?
Okay.
I was like what's the word? The best type of inmate. So, I got some good time. I got out a little bit earlier on work release. And then I came out and I was like, I'm not going to ever go
Do that
near
again,
that
yeah.
again.
Right.
Not even weed, nothing. Like, I'm going to change my life around because I lost a lot of time. Right?
Yeah, you
So,
can't get
and
back.
sometimes, time being in there, it sucks. You lose a lot of time. But then you also have a lot of time to think. So
Right.
there's the doers and the non-doers, right? There's people that keep going in there, and then there's people that actually change their whole life around.
you probably witnessed some people get out and come back
Oh
in.
my God! Like, yeah, we had murderers in there. We got all sorts of stuff. Stuff
there's
you
like
don't
a-
even want to see, right? The
Right.
pedophiles, the this and the that, and just like I don't belong here.
Right.
Why am I even here?
Right.
I was
Man.
just trying to make a living, but the wrong way. So I get it, and it's like, okay, I did my time. What do I do next?
Right.
So I said, I'm just gonna work my butt off,
Right.
And when I got into the work release program, I had a good friend of mine. They owned a Chinese restaurant. So that's how I got into the work release, because I worked for him. But I was only making $5 an hour. I didn't care. I just wanted to be out.
Yeah, that's
So-
the most important thing.
I was just kind of semi-working, extremely minimum wage, but I was out, right? Did that for 2 years. But in that 2 years, I got that grit to work, right? Because you're working, right? You're working in this restaurant.
You get some
it's a grind.
momentum. You got a good thing
Yeah.
going. You don't got to look over your shoulder.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I felt good about it. It was the right way to make money, and you don't have to look back and like waiting for someone to get you or the police or anything, you know. So yeah, that was the 2 years, and then I jumped into construction.
So you did 2 years of that. You managed to offer working $5 an hour. You're going from $50K a week to pretty much $5 an hour. You got to put your ego aside, pride to the side, and then you managed to get stable during that 2 years period. And
yeah, because I mean, I had a friend, you know, that just kind of was like, stay with me, you know, and my family.
Bring the rent down.
Yeah, and like basically pay nothing. Almost.
Right.
I'm
Cut the cost, make sure you're good.
Almost free in a sense, right? So that $5 I just never used, right? It's a restaurant, so I eat for free. So I'm just stacking the $5 an hour.
So you're saving up. Do you have a plan at this time? Like, do you have a few
No, I had no idea what to do. Like, you know, I knew I needed to make money.
Yeah.
But what is it? You know, I've tried a lot of things. Like back then, college years so the 2 years I graduated, but then I wanted to go into college. So during the restaurant thing, I did the whole Pell Grant thing again.
Okay.
After 1 year. So once 1 year hit, I was able to still get some financial aid. I got my bachelor's. I was starting to get my bachelor's. And that was another ordeal where like I stopped. You know, you're just confused about life like everybody. A lot of people run into this problem, right?
Right.
And I never really finished. Like it was kind of lingering. I had some credits and I kind of left it at that, and I went into construction. Yeah. And
So talk about how you went into construction, because it's like, got to get your hands dirty now.
Yeah.
So did you take like trade school or something? Or like?
No, I was the guy, like they just make you work on top of the roof, literally, right? Because
they just teach you and you do it?
Yeah, I'm doing all the hard work because I'm young. So they got me on the joists, you know, hammering away on the top layer where they can't because they're older, right? So they got me up there.
Putting in the work.
And, you know, you just year or 2 years later, you know, you learn more and more. And I was like, started framing, right? Once I started framing, I was like, oh, I could build a structure now. And then it went into like starting to do like the drywalling. So the whole process, I watched the whole process, even if I didn't do it and I only had a certain field that they had me do. But I was around it all day.
Yeah, you were retaining everything that was happening because you're there on site.
Yeah, and I didn't know I'd use it today.
Right.
You know, but it comes into play later. You know, it's all these life skills you learn, right?
Yeah.
And you never know what different journey you took that you could take into your next venture. You know, so yeah, that happened. Then
So the pay is way better in construction.
Yeah,
of course,
I mean, even though you're a laborer, you do.
It's not $5. No way.
No,
For sure.
You still make more, a lot more work, and like your body hurts. But at the end of the day, you can survive a little better. So I was doing that, and then finally decided college is the way to finish, and I finished. Then I got into a career path. I worked for Lucent Technology after a bachelor's degree of computer science, but I never told them I had a felony. So
they didn't ask. They didn't want a background check, none of that. You're just
back
like, hey.
then, the computer systems weren't the same as now.
Right.
Oh,
So it takes a while for them to figure out you have it.
Right.
But by then you're doing such a great job.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah. And a year went by, still nothing, but I just didn't want to do it no more. It was like a lot of work. And Lucent at the time, if you know now, they were the digital phone company, right? Right? For networking.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of folded, right? Because all this other voice over IPs were happening and all that. So I ended up walking off from it. I just literally was like, I'm done. This is a lot of work. You guys got me working like 15 hours a day.
So what you went to college for, you actually use your degree the following year type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I fibbed a little to get to where I'm at, to that job, but it wasn't I didn't want to work a 9 to 5.
Was that your first like salary paying position? Where is it like a...
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that must have felt good when you got it. You know
First
what I mean?
year,
Like,
it did.
And especially, coming from not even what you've been through, but also utilizing your degree as well. Because some people can have a whole degree and don't even use it. They're not even close to the field.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
rare
so-
that I hear that people use their actual degree. Like, want to learn this, I got a job in this, boom. So it's
Yeah,
like, was that like at least good paying, like 6 figures or something? Or what?
It was like, well, back then it was like in the 90s.
Right,
Okay.
but that's still good. Back then, back then, that's good.
So-
that was good for the economy.
Exactly.
You was straight.
Yeah, it was like an
you good.
$80K kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just work on computer, working with your mind rather than your body, right?
Yeah, network specialist. So you just take lines and just make sure that the network is running right? And
Quality control, that's what's up.
And the Cisco routers and.
But it
all
just
that.
wasn't fulfilling enough.
It wasn't. And there's more to that story. Like I did the MCSE and the, Cisco routing certificates, right? When I was going to college, and I was working inside the college, right, at Harper. So before all this, and so backtracking, it was all before that. But it was like little things I learned on the way that I didn't know I was gonna use, but it all kind of somehow worked out that way.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is, everything's a lesson, right?
Yeah.
And you just gotta hone your skills from that and backtrack, and you go, hey, what am I good at, right? What else can I do? Mm-hmm. I've started a lot of weird companies. Like, do you remember when there was forums?
Yeah.
Really big back then. It was
Like, you go online and then sort of like a group chat sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's giving their 2 cents opinions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had
Online
like
forums?
when my party years, we had a forum. It was a nightlife forum,
Okay.
right, for all the club scenes and rave scenes, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like our infrastructure for what we were doing.
Right. Yeah.
Like
To see
building up-
what's
see
buzzing,
where-
see where they like it, and then
Yeah,
you go
it's
and
like
hit it. Boom, and now we're collecting.
Telegram, pretty
yeah,
much.
Yeah,
Like, you
Yeah.
know where to go, where the next scene is gonna be.
So you knew where you was gonna make your money that day.
Correct.
Right.
So it's analytical stuff, little things, But yeah, so that was a business venture, kind of in sync with another business venture, right? But yeah, that's kind of where I was at in construction. I went from construction. I finally how old was I? Yeah, I was around 23, 24, somewhere. 24, no, 25, 26, 27. So after all that happened, the work, got out of the work. Mind you, now I'm still not talking to my dad, right?
Right.
So after Lucent, somehow I met him at a McDonald's, face
Wait,
to face.
your dad,
I
you just
haven't
out of
seen
nowhere?
since I was 16.
Wow.
Just walked in McDonald's random, and it was just
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't know that closure would feel that way. But, once you see your own parent and you actually tell him what happened, right?
Like-
Because I couldn't face it. That was the
Right.
problem. And when you can't face it, you're more screwed up in the head,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's true.
It's like a dark cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold. So I always say, don't hold things in, because for sure that turns you into somebody you shouldn't be.
Right.
Because that anger, all this stuff like spite, and when I actually told him, it felt like
The weight
this
off your shoulder.
cloud just lifted off my chest, and he actually was like crying. It's like, oh my God, I didn't know, right? With everything that happened to me, I learned to forgive people, and forget things, right? Try to, at least.
Right.
Sometimes I can't forget, but I could forgive and not have animosity towards that person. So once I told him, I forgave her, which is my stepmom.
Right.
I still wanted to get closer to my dad, right? You got to have a parent,
Right.
And so we started slowly talking again, and I think that changed me a little bit, right? It makes you a better person. And you're like, okay, this is great. We got this thing, and it's still awkward, if you're 16 to 27. I mean, it's a long time not seeing someone.
Yeah.
And in my childhood, I didn't really see him, so it's even more like strange at first. But we got closer, and then he decided he was in real estate, commercial real estate. He owned a lot of business before. Maybe I got part of that part of me from him, some business aspect, mindset. But when he came And he was like, hey, I got this nail salon, you want to run it? And this is when I'm all confused in my head. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing construction, and I don't really have a path, you know?
Right.
And so I said, I'll take it on. So he buys this business. We didn't know. We got lied to. He got lied to. It was fake tax documents. So he bought it for more money he should have. But when I got into it, it was making $1,000 a week, you know? A nail salon, and
I mean,
I didn't
just
never run a nail salon before,
Right,
you know.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I wonder how much the rent alone.
It was $4,000 a month.
So it's like barely breaking even to pay the rent. How you gonna pay the employees? Like
That was the problem. And so my dad had a $10,000 credit card, business credit card. He's like, this is all we got left. And it was up to me to revive this thing.
10,000. Oh, you got
all right,
10,000.
so now
Okay.
the story's getting good. You got this business. It's they scammed you, but now you got 10K left. Let's get
10K,
into it.
yeah.
How you turn this thing around?
So, you know, everything revolves around structure.
Right.
So I had some nail techs there was one nail tech that was going to leave when the owner sold, but she felt bad for me because I was left with no money in the back, right?
Right.
And so she stuck around, but I promised her a vision, right? I said, hey, if this goes right, you could be the manager of this store, but I need 1 year from you. But I'll pay you whatever I can. Just you got to struggle with me a little bit.
Right.
So then I came up with, okay, well, what do I have to do? I got to be different than what's going on now. So with 10 grand, you can't do a lot, right? So what I ended up doing is I found a product, right? Product.
Yeah.
It's always about a product. And it wasn't here in the US yet. It was a gel. Right now, it's crazy out there with the gel manicures, right? It's like this.
Yeah.
The ladies all like it. It's a no chip, right? Gel manicure. It stays on more than a regular polish, like all this OPI stuff. So I brought it. It's called Cal Gel. I brought it from Europe and South Africa. That's where the manufacturing plant was. I brought it here. I learned it, trained the technicians on it, and then we called it No Chip Manicure in Chicago.
Yo.
Yeah. So 2008.
Bro.
I was on Channel 9 News for that. Yeah.
Bro, what's even crazy, like you saying that is mind blowing to me because I literally just I invested with my lady, my girl. She's about to go to A+ nail school. And they're talking about this, and I think the same gender, like, this is where we make all our money. Everyone loves this, this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, we need that. Well, whatever that brand is, I want it. Like, cause she's about to go through the whole school, get her certificate, the whole 9 yards, so we can really push it, you know, and push the you know, little nail business for real.
Yeah. And so back then it was a brush and a pot of gel. And ours was organic, so people like healthy, you know, and not damaging to the nail. So that's what it was. And so people would just come like it was
Like
drug.
hotcakes. Wow.
It was like a drug.
Holy
You know?
What
shit.
sparked in your brain? Like, how did you know? How did you find that solution? Were you meditating? Like,
No, I mean, you just go, what is out there, right? You got to test things. You got to check. You got to do some research. You're like, what's out there right now in this industry, right? Any industry, you do the same thing. You find what's out there, what's not out there, or what is in another country, right?
That's not here.
So that's not here, but it's popping over there.
Yeah.
you know what's funny about that? I seen this one thing online that was talking about how these billionaires made money. They literally just cloned eBay
Yeah.
in
yeah,
Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they called it something else.
And they
but the
did that-
whole entire thing, because eBay got their copyright, trademark, whatever, United States. The whole business model is legal to just copy in a whole nother side of the world. Billions, same results.
Yep.
And then they did it like 8 more times. And
Yeah,
it was
I think it
just-
was 9 or 10 times. 10 different businesses. They're two brothers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Too.
It's in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And they just changed the name, maybe some of their colors on the logo. It's crazy.
What are we taking a flight, bro? We need to
Yeah,
go out there
man.
for like a year,
We
bro. We need to go
definitely got
crazy.
to,
There's what?
You don't break what's working, right?
You
modify
yeah.
what's working.
The what's that called? What's that called? The Burger King effect, where it's like, oh, McDonald's was always doing this and that, and it's like, okay,
Don't reinvent the wheel. Like,
no, just make Burger King, put it across the street, to do the same shit. Just don't break what's not working. Oh wow,
exactly. So, yeah, and so we did that whole ordeal, getting that out. I was charging $10,000. So my thought was this: if I'm the only store that's doing it, it's not gonna get big, right? It won't get big. My brain was saying, train other salons and charge them a training fee and sell the product
to them.
So then I had got distribution rights for the gel.
Wow.
I brought it here. But there was another store. It was called Sanctuary Nails. It was in downtown, and I was in Lakeview. There was two. So it was just us and them. They didn't market. They were just marketing to their clients. I went the other route. I'm marketing to salons now, and I'm training salons. So as it got more noticed, they're like, oh, there's no chip manicure thing, this gel thing. So I would charge them $10,000 for training. I didn't know how to do nails. I knew how to put the gel on, though. I didn't know how to even file a nail. Right.
But you knew that
But I
gel.
could put the gel on properly.
Right.
And I would teach that proper technique. And then the salon owners knew how to do that. Why do I need to train them how to file a nail? Right. They already know. I just need to know how to put it on the right way, the technique. So I did learn that. So you always learn your craft, right?
Were you like going from salon to salon and walking in there, or like calling them on white pages?
So I'm in computer science. So what did I do? I went online, and what I did is they had programs where you could pull So if you type in a keyword, and it's an extraction thing, right? I forgot what it was called, but it extracts emails, right?
Right.
So what I did is I took the extractor, and I typed in nail salons.
Right.
Right. And it would take all the websites, and it was whether it was I think it was like 40,000 or something nail salon websites. It would take all their emails. Then I would do a marketing campaign. I would just type in no chip manicure, gel nails from Europe, healthy, conscious, blah blah blah, and I put this thing in an email, and I just emailed it out.
Blast it.
And then people started calling. It wasn't a lot of people at first. It was just like 4 or 5 people curious. And I would explain it. Again, that's the sales part. I had to be good at sales, right? So I explained it properly, thoroughly. I said, let me go there and show you. Once I show them, and they're seeing me do it, this guy that doesn't know nails but has a successful business now, scaled up, was on TV, they're like, okay, we're committed. How much? We're going to cut you a $5,000 check for the product. $10,000 for the training, train my employees.
Wow.
So I did that.
Holy, yeah.
And it happened, it was a good run for 2.5 to 3 years of that. My salon was flourishing.
Of course.
But then more gel products came out, and they made it easier, right? Everybody always tries to make things easier. So then they came out with the bottle, and it's just a polish, right? Wow. And at that point, I was like, all right, it's time to fold it. So I stopped distributing because I didn't want to lose. I was making, just in the gel distribution, about $15,000 net income from that alone. And then the training was 10, and usually I had 2 to 3 trainings a month.
So it's at least like almost 50,000.
Yeah, and then my business was doing 700,000 gross, so I was doing about 300,000 net income from that.
Shit. So probably you're probably almost netting $500,000.
Yeah. And then I opened another salon not too far away.
Did it have the same name, or was it different names?
It was, one was CC Nails and the other one was CC Nails and Spa. We had the spa part because it was a bigger place.
Okay. Yeah, that's good for branding. When you Google it, they got 2 locations or whatever, and the same customer quality service and all that.
And that happened, and then the salon was running. I had managers running it now.
So your dad was more so a silent investor. Yeah. He ain't got to touch
that
nothing.
One little
10,000.
Yeah. Well, he bought the salon.
Oh yeah.
Right?
But that last little end part, like, hey, this is what we got, and you made that shit work.
Yeah, but there's a twist to all this. So then I was because I had construction background. I was approached by some of the investors that we were building strip malls for. So the restaurateurs were like, hey, you want to partner up and open this? Because I was good with graphic arts and that sort of thing. after they saw what I could do at my salon.
Right.
Right. And so people notice you when you're doing the right thing and you're doing things that actually are growing. They
Right.
will reach out.
Right.
They're curious.
Right.
And it's what you present to them afterwards, right? So then I became 20% owner of restaurants.
Mm.
And then it became 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 restaurants. They were like 10,000 square foot restaurants.
And they were on this one strip mall?
No,
Oh, it was just over.
different places.
Okay.
Yeah, one was Ashton in Milwaukee,
Okay.
right? We had a nightlife there, 4 a.m. bar, next to where was Evil Olive.
Oh yeah, that's a popular spot.
Yeah,
That's
that was where all this nightlife was. So I was helping run that, and I run the nightlife scene with promoters and all that stuff. So I knew how to do all that stuff because of my past.
Yeah. It all comes full circle.
It comes full circle. Now legally,
man.
now I'm serving liquor. You know,
Right.
We're filling at 600 people a night.
Wow.
You know, because I have the right promoters. We got the go-go dancers, and so that was a highlight of my life, right? Because
How much is it to get in? 600 people a night, $20 to get in or something? Like
no,
Nah.
so you charge like $5 for the door, but it's the liquor that sells.
Right.
money
Because they'll
for.
take a little shot glass
And
for
it-
like
Wait,
$11.
$5 at the door? I know
Yeah, and then
places
you
that
give the
want 50 at the
promoter-
door.
So you give a promoter $2 to $3. That promoter is going to give their promoters $1 or $2. It's the same thing. It's everything in business is like a trickle down system,
Right.
right? So you give the main guy the bigger bulk. The bigger bulk guy gives it to all his people, and then it goes down, and the last person gets $1 ahead. But that just paid for all their liquor for the night.
Right.
So that's kind of how that stuff works.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy system. I learned.
Wow.
I learned a lot, you know, in those things. Like, but it was like the same stuff. What I was back when the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's same things, just different.
Avenues, yeah. Just
Yeah, man. That's why I like to know like where people started, because all this success. I mean, what's life like by the time you're making all this money with the gels and the nails and the salon, and now you're owner of 5 restaurants?
Yeah, part
Like, what
owner.
is life like? Like, how are you not? Are you splurging money at this time? Are you in heaven or what's
No,
going on?
I mean, yeah, I partied a lot. So also, when you party a lot, means you're using a lot of your money, right? And you're not thinking about it because you keep thinking money's coming, right? I got too comfortable because now everything's automated. You know? So this is one life lesson I learned. I started going to the casinos.
Oh.
Started just, I was a high roller. I was a 7-star, you know, at Horseshoe. I was at Ameristar or something like that.
Yeah.
I was another the high limit card or
Yeah.
whatever.
You had all the cards. You was stamped in there.
Yeah, and money feels like nothing now because money's coming in every day and you're just blowing it off. But when the market shifts and you're still continuing to go and you're not saving your money, it becomes a problem.
Huh?
Yeah.
So you
Because you don't really notice, like, when you just have it like that, you're not really checking your bank account often, right?
No,
Because you just know, like,
you got next day you're gonna have a few
Another
stacks
100,000.
again, you know? So you're not thinking
Wow.
about that stuff, but then when you're going into places like that,
and they replace money with
chips, you forget what you're doing in there, and then it becomes a habit, and it becomes this like the rush, right?
like, oh my God, I could win 100,000. Put it on black. And
Yeah, it's the rush. It's not even about the money you're making; it's the feeling you get from doing it.
Right.
Because working so much, your life gets a little boring, right?
yeah,
Nothing excites you sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
working so much, you can't really go anywhere else. You can't go on vacation because you got to watch all the stuff that's going on. And it wasn't, at that time, wasn't as fully automated as it should be. I always had to have my hand in it, right? At some point, and I had partners in the restaurant, so they're watching me. So I'm always close by, right? And when you're at these places, you're just kind of zoned out. You know, you're zoned out, and you
you don't
forget
gotta
the
worry.
world out
Yeah.
there. You know, and so I kind of started losing some money, a good amount of money, to the point where when the market 2008, 2009, so 2012 things changed. You know, the housing market was picking up, but
Trying to
it
recover.
plateaued. People from 08 to 10 were still spending money, but people were running out of money, right?
Right.
When they run out of money, they start stopping things. And so all that stuff started changing, you know, for me. And I was like, whoa, like, I'm in trouble, right? I'm in big trouble. And, I had a bad breakup at the time, so I'm more depressed. That women do affect you sometimes. And I chose that depression over I need to pick myself back up. So that was another lesson I had to learn the hard way. But I ended up selling cheap for my for the nail salons, walking away from it. And for the restaurants, that's when things started toning down, and we had to close things or sell things. So we closed 2 and we sold I think it was 3. Yeah, 3.
So all 5 gone now.
Yeah, they're gone. And now I'm back to square one again, right? With little money in my pocket. I mean, I had some, but the gambling didn't help. I was in debt from other things. And once everything came back, it was like I had personal guarantees on all the marketing that I did to all the restaurants. And that hurt me. Now all of a sudden either I take the money that I cashed out on, and what do I do with it? Do I pay all these things, or do I have to go bankrupt? I chose bankruptcy. Had I known that you could fix your credit, and not go bankrupt and do all this other stuff, there's so many things you could do where you could let it sit for a minute and get it negotiated, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that stuff. That's when I got a little more savvy later on. But I was like, I'm just going to go bankrupt. I'm going to give up on that and have some money and survive.
Right.
But I still had a gambling problem, right? Dang. So I went bankrupt.
If you could, because you had a gambling problem, for our viewers, if you can give them how you got out of it, because a lot of people struggle.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, so first I hit the rock bottom. I blew all of it off. And my girlfriend and now my with my 2 beautiful kids, she was always there, right? And
you had a support system.
She would go to the casino. What are you doing here?
Wow.
Get up on that ass. Yep, get up on that ass. You on the table, you about to spend it, and she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly, and I was caught red-handed, and it took about a year of going that route with her, and she must have had a lot of love for me. She dealt with that for a whole year.
Yeah.
And I ended up signing out completely. To this day, I can never go into a casino again.
There's something. I'm making an assumption on what you just said. You can tell the casino to ban you or something. Or
yeah. You just sign saying you don't want to come back. Or you want to sign yourself out. So it's generally for 2 years, or you could do one forever. I did the one forever. I don't need to do that.
Wow. Okay, that's a thing. I didn't know.
Hey, I'm fun. Now I know something new. I gotta make a phone call later. We got some people. There's I'm not gonna mention their names, but kind of certain kind of same situation.
And we're being creative.
Literally,
what can we do to help
what
this
are we
guy?
doing? What are we doing? How can we do this?
You have to react to your problem, or else it'll always be there, right? And it took that much pressure, though. Someone following me to the casinos, right? To be like, what are you doing? And it happening multiple times. It wasn't one time. It was one of those movies.
Every time. It's almost you couldn't.
Or me trying to hide,
Right.
She's here,
I'm at the slot machine looking over.
You're trying to hide from her, oh crap, she's here. Oh crap, I'm in trouble. It was bad. It was really bad. And yeah, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? The casino just engulfed me. That's what happened. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
That it's a bad habit, first of all, and you lose money. If you ever should look, the house always wins.
Yeah.
You win sometimes. Yeah, you go for leisure, and if you won, you just don't come back, and you're a winner. But if you continue to think you're gonna win every time,
right,
it's not it.
Yeah, you win 10 grand one day, you go back the next and try. I'm about to make 20 grand. 10 grand's gone now.
And another 10.
And because you're like, no, I gotta make that one back.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a very big lesson of life I learned, and so now that continues on to now I don't have salons, I don't have the restaurants.
No more gambling.
I don't have
now.
no money. I have a decent car. I had a BMW, a 5 Series.
Okay.
It was a 2013, and at that time, right, it was 2015 by then.
Still good. Hell yeah.
But it was good. But I had nothing, and my girl, we were living in like a studio apartment, but we were living in a good area. It was Lincoln Park.
Okay.
And it was like, what do I do from here? I need to get my real estate license, and so I eventually, it takes 2 months.
Okay.
So I Ubered, right? I Ubered part-time at first, and then I kind of understood it a little better. And it was good because like I'm thinking about real estate now. Like, oh, maybe this is what I should, it's sales, right? And my dad's in it, you know? And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to Uber, and then I'm going to study for real estate. So that's kind of what I did. And I paid for the real estate because it's like cheap. It's $750, right, to get your license.
And then it's like, is it like $3,000 a year with the brokerage?
Yeah, like $2,700 or something. I don't know the exact dollar amount, but yeah, let's just say it's around $3,000. Yeah, to get it started.
Get it all, get everything going.
So Uber helped me pay for that, and you know, I don't care what anyone says about Uber, but it really did help me in my hardest times, like because I was able to turn on an app and do what I needed to do, and still make an income while I'm trying to make another income. So I was back in the hustle now, because no gambling, my lights are on now, my head's turning again. When you're in those kind of places, you don't think anymore. You don't have any imagination. Yeah, just numbers. That's all you look at over there.
Bro.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So now I'm Ubering full time because I'm trying to make income to pay rent, you know, support my girl too, and at the time she wasn't working either now. So we're both struggling now.
Right. But you don't make excuses. It's like
I just got to do it. You know?
Momentum.
Yeah.
I try to stress that to people. Like, you just need some sort of momentum. You know what I'm saying? Park your ego to the side, pride to the side. Boom. Start the Uber app, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. And, you know, I guess the skill set I had was I'm a people person. Right?
Yeah.
So I talk like this, kind of, I'm not like extremely excited about everything. I don't feel hyper.
Right.
You know, I show some charisma. So like when I'm driving, you know, I get good tips, right? People like me, and a lot of people. Oh, in the Uber app, I put I'm a real estate agent.
Oh, like on the bio, you know.
And I know construction.
Right.
So in that, I was marketing for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're meeting people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and be able to talk to them.
Correct. So that was the grind. It was just that 50, 60,000 on Uber. Obviously, there's gas and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So really, you're maybe 40 or 35K net. But, you know, you're trying to do real estate. That was the end game. So I was doing both. Finally, I got a couple clients, but they were small. It's the $99,000 clients, the ones, you know, you're not going to make anything really, grand or two.
I'm assuming they tell you go after friends and family to get your first couple deals. Like this, can you describe, you remember your first, like, yes, he trusts me to sell his house. Like, what was that like, your first one?
Well, remember, I didn't really have friends or family.
Right.
The ones I had weren't in the right space.
Right.
They weren't going to get approved.
So what'd you do to really land that first deal in real estate?
So at first I went with Kale Realty. It was okay, but I didn't learn too much because it was like one of those 100% commission-based places. And at the time, they didn't have a full infrastructure. Now they're great. I've seen it. They have a good model. I just disengaged really fast and went to Coldwell Banker.
Okay.
And that was my first being with Coldwell Banker. And in there, I jumped into the internet division. So meaning I get internet leads. So, you know, I have to be smart, right? I got to find customers, but if I don't have customers, how do you sell?
Push it? How do you push your product?
So I just, you know, to me, they took 50, I took 50. It was good, you know. You got me a customer that I could work on. So that's kind of how it all started. And my first one was $99K. It was all the way in Blue Island. You know, it was small, right?
What was like maybe 3.5% or something?
2.5%. So
2.5%, and then you get 50% of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like $1,000 or $1,200 or something like that.
But at least I tell people, man, that first one,
yeah,
it's like it does something to your brain where, all right, I know it's real. It's time to go. It's time to ramp it up.
And it's like, okay, I got a taste of a check. Plus I was, you know, Ubering around and I was advertising now with my business card. And then, you know, that would turn, I just can never seem to break past 200K. And I know a lot of people are running into that problem. Even some of my agents now have that problem. And it's like how do you break out of that sphere of 200, 300K? I mean, you still do them, but like everybody wants the $1 million
Yeah, because that's your specialty right now. So I
$2
want you to
million
break that down
Yeah.
for the realtors that's going to be listening, like how you can break out of that and really get to like your kind of level.
Well, it takes time.
Okay.
There's no fast way to sell $1 million properties because you definitely have to have the skill set, or you got to have a good mentor, right? And so either length of time in business or a mentorship program, right? That's it. There's really no quick way. If someone told me they got a $10 million house listed and it was just their first home, it's either their social presence that they have between friends and family. That's right. You know someone, they like you and they trust you and they give you that $10 million. But if you're like me that didn't have anybody, you can't. There's just no, I don't have the experience. I don't have nobody that taught me anything about it. So I have to learn from the ground up, right? So I started, first thing I could get is someone that could trust me with a 100K home, right? And then you just work your way up, 100, 150. But now you kind of learned how to write a contract. You went through an inspection. You went through the whole like attorney review. You kind of see the outlay of how a deal went through. Mm-hmm. First one was rocky because you really don't know.
Right.
Second one, you're a little better, but you still forget.
Right.
Third one is when you're like, okay, I understand it. Now it's like, now what do I focus on? Well, I'm good at construction, right? I'm going to pull investors because I can't find a listing. No one's going to give me a listing because I'm too fresh.
Right.
If you pull my name up, there's no sales besides buyers. So listing is not going to give me their listing. It was like, and I don't even know how to get a listing at the time, right?
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to create my own listings by finding investors that I'm going to help do the construction for.
You can put a crew together? Like, so you thought of that idea, but how realistic is it for you to execute on that?
I mean, it was a challenge at first. I had to figure, well, luckily, like, through my Ubering, I met a contractor.
Okay.
You know,
Perfect.
and we became, like, cool, right? He took my name, I took his name, and I just happened to call him. Like, you never be scared to ask and network. That's one thing. Everything that I've ever done, it's because I was not afraid to ask, right? A lot of people don't ask, so you will never know.
Right.
One thing I know in networking, even right now, till this day, I still ask everybody.
Right.
Anywhere I go. It's just, if you don't do that, you're
Closed
not.
mouths don't get fed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a big key to success, I think, is you have to be proactive. You have to be out there. I mean, even these podcasts for me,
Right.
I'm not used to film.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to, like, with even the TV show thing, it was very frightening because my childhood, my upbringing made me small. Like, I am still feeling like that. Like, I'm fighting my own demons still,
Right.
you know, with these things. But if I don't put myself out there, no one will ever know.
Exactly.
And you won't know until you try either. And
Yeah.
that's what I keep telling myself. And so when I came to this podcast, I'm like, you know, a lot of people would probably want to hear this stuff because, you know, I talk to my best friends, you know, right now, even from childhood, and, you know, they're going through things, and it's like, wow, little bit of, you know, talking and motivation help them change a little bit, you know, and it's always good to be true to yourself.
Yeah, because everyone, like you said before, everyone has a story. Everyone got something going on, and coming from, again, what you have literally fought through your whole life, you know, like it's motivating. You know, there's people that right now that are fighting that same fight.
Yeah.
You know, they
If
are
not
in
worse.
they are in crazier positions where they got no home, got no nothing, and you know they might glance at this, hear this, walk somewhere, and this is playing, and now you motivated someone to be the next president and down the line. Who
You
knows?
never know. Yeah, one
Exactly.
little seed. It just takes one
Yup.
seed to change a person's life.
Yes.
I think that is very important.
It is, and like I said, it's crazy because I'm hearing you talk, and it's just all the stuff you're telling me. I'm like, whoa, like
Yeah.
All the way down to the, like I said, from the teenage to now, it's like, wow.
Yeah,
It's,
the thing that the trend that I'm trying to get people to realize, like most millionaires lost it twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Like they already took, they went all the way up, they went to heaven, and boom, crash, boom. Like, so imagine you trying to get started on whatever it is you're trying to get started on, man. The failures are inevitable. Inevitable, you know. You might have to start over a couple different times.
Yeah.
You know,
you gotta be a fighter. You know, just because something takes you down, I've seen it too, where it took some people down. I mean, they even suicided, right? Like,
it kept them
it's
down.
crazy. One of my best friends, that happened to him.
wow.
I'm sorry.
Put him in. He did that in his own garage, you know, and I just can't believe like what in their mind makes them, you know, trigger. But it is depression, right?
Yeah.
And I could have had it too, right? Anybody, everyone's human, so it's like I just want to let people know, like, anything is possible. Like, literally anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was homeless too. You know, when people say like, "Oh, I got it bad," and they have an apartment, they're still okay. I mean, just get better. Just find something that will
Elevate you, yo.
Yeah,
Just
more business or just something that will make you more happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm just wow. I can't believe how some people can give up so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, be a fighter, man, because a lot of times success doesn't come from one thing. You gotta fall in the pits and come back up, and you learn from all your mistakes.
yeah, you gotta bring the success out.
Yeah.
So when we talk about success, do you typically, 'cause I know most realtors, they'll put all their listings on their like landing page or something like that. Like, let's talk about like some of your wins, right? So now you're selling like $1 million properties. Like, what's the most expensive like home you've sold or something like that?
Well, so I mean, most of my stuff now. I mean, I'm still trying to break into like the $3, $4, $5 million properties, but right now we're in the $1 to $3 million space. Okay. One of the newest listings I have, I'm actually renovating for the client right now. They're putting $600,000 into it. I'm orchestrating the whole thing.
Wow.
It's in Lake Forest, and I'm selling it for $2.3 million.
2.3 million.
And you're gonna help me video that one.
Oh, 100%. Gonna get the drone out and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So we're renovating it right now. It's Lake Forest. So I'm sure everyone's heard of it. It's like one of the CEO areas, right, of living. And so, yeah, when he came to me with it, I was like, well, it's only worth 1.3. Why did they come to me? They know I know construction. And they wanted to know, is it worth doing the renovation, or is it worth just selling at 1.3?
Right.
I said, well, if you have 1.3, and well, what is your equity, first of all? It's like, oh, I only owe $600,000. I'm like, $600,000? So why don't we spend $600,000?
Right. All in that 1.2.
And sell it for 2.3.
Right.
And he was like, all right.
Let's do it.
And there was other realtors that he had in mind, but they all told him to sell.
Right. But you were like, no, let's take it up a notch.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
gonna
not
get some more
to,
money.
It's got to be beneficial to the client. So that's the thing. You got to move with your heart, not your mind, and not the money. Right. Always. If you have passion in what you do, money will follow. Always will follow. I don't care what anyone says. Passion brings money. When you think about money first, it doesn't happen because, like, you're not thinking of the right things, and that resonates. People feel it, right? Like, look at how I'm talking now. I'm like, I have passion. It's like I'm talking like I have passion. And when I tell that guy, like, hey, we can wait. Let's get it right. Let's sell it the right way.
Right.
Versus the other agent going, let's sell it at 1.3. Yeah, they're gonna get a nice commission anyways.
Right.
So I want him to profit, not just me.
Exactly. I was at an open house the other day, and I was like, lady wants to list her property for sale. I just asked her, and this is a good segue. I just asked her, man, this is a beautiful home. Every room was immaculate, right? I was like, would you ever consider like Airbnb? Now, I'm not a realtor, but I just wanted to hear her reaction to that idea, being open-minded, because, you know, I have my assistant reaching out to a bunch of properties, trying to, find some Airbnbs and short-term rentals and things of that nature. She was actually open-minded to it. She's like, oh, well, I've been a landlord for a while. She owns some property. But I was like, okay, that wasn't so hard to ask. Like you said, just ask and see where they're at with it. But ultimately, yeah, it was good to pretty much ask her, like, what's in her best interest? Because she's about to list it on the market, but it's just like, if it just stays there, it just stays on the market, she still got a mortgage. Yeah. Like, what if she makes money while it's listed or something like that?
Yeah.
Like more than one option type of thing.
Yeah, you can kind of break it down. I mean, I guess in that scenario, you would have to like have certain. So in a 7-day period, right? This is what I would have done in that situation. Is okay, we're gonna have open houses these 3 days,
right.
or showings these 3 days. These 4 days, we're gonna take profit, meaning we're gonna do Airbnb.
Right.
That way, still getting sold and it's staged,
right,
and it's appropriately, so it could actually go quickly because now you have furniture in there.
Right, and it's staged. Yeah, it was staged too.
Closing won't happen for
at least a month or two,
60 days, whatever. So whoever has it could like really grab all that to turn into profit. But that part, because it's so short, you have to be careful because when you first invest, I have 22 Airbnbs right now, arbitraged. I have 10 more coming this month. I just turned one on yesterday, one more. So I have 23 Airbnbs running, and I have 9 loading right now.
Sheesh, let's get into that. I need all the details.
Yeah, because I'm actively like one of my cousins. She does a real estate as well. She's not closing millions, but she does her thing. She showed me a couple listings. We're trying to look for high rises in the area where Lakeshore, downtown, it can get rented. A nice view, ceiling to floor windows. And I found one, and then one it came furnished. It was like $3,000 or $3,500, and I was like, okay, I got these listings. Like, all right, I want it. Do they do corporate leasing? Do they,
is it truly Airbnb friendly, or is it just?
Well, see that it was more to ask. That's why I say I asked, and then they all rejected.
Yeah. So you have to be careful with that because it could be a very short stay. 6 months.
Oh yeah.
So my Superhost partner had stuff like that. It lasted her 6 months when they found out. They were like, if you don't leave today, this is going to be a court battle. So she freaked out and left. And she's a super host, right? Remember, she has like 600 reviews. She had like 12 properties, and then like I was looking for properties for her too as an agent, right? And then we ended up partnering up. I was like, you know what, we should just partner up.
Yeah.
I'm good at that part. You're good at that part. Let's run this together. I know how to manage and operate an infrastructure.
Exactly.
You know how to do the razzle dazzle. I don't know how to do that. Like if I can, but it takes me more effort.
Yeah.
And so it's like whatever craft you're good at, you always you hone in on that and let other people do the things you're not good at.
Exactly.
Right. That's why my team is so big. My team is really big because I can wing numbers in my head because of the skill set, like from previous workings.
Yeah.
But if you had me sit down to analyze data in front of me, it'll take me 2 hours versus one of my agents, he could do it in 10 minutes.
Right.
So what would I do? Would I use my 2 hours or would I use his 10 minutes? I would use his 10 minutes.
Right.
So then he became a director of operations because of that. Right.
He's a
beast. My partner, Brandon Banks, he is good at managing, right? And he came from a managed. So it's like you got to learn who they are, understand what they're good at.
Their strong suits.
The strong suits, and then you empower the people, right? He's good at management. He was a Costco manager, GM. I was bad at that stuff. Like I know how to put infrastructures together, but I can't watch it daily. It's just too much for me, you know? So I had him help me strategize the whole infrastructure. So we did. So we have directors on our team. We have a trainer on our team. We have virtual assistants on our team. So it's like this whole infrastructure is going on now. But I don't have to do all that workload now. Now I can focus on other 22 Airbnbs, 23 Airbnbs, and onward with other businesses. I'm able to open more, right?
and have
All
it running.
hustle in the
Keep it
end.
automation because you're structurally making it right.
Yeah, and you know, I always look at it as like my passion is helping other people too, because I've been there, you know, and it's like, how do I grow, but how do you grow with me,
Right.
right?
That's what
We
we always
should
try to
all
do.
grow. Why am I going to be the only one growing? I'm going to have enemies then.
Right.
Never have an enemy. Why have an enemy? Karma comes back.
Exactly.
Always does.
So this lady, she was already on Airbnb for a long time, pretty much superhost status, and then you decided to partner with her. And
Yeah,
everything?
yeah. We partnered. So she was always good at just this stuff, like you know,
Like making it look good,
pretty,
yeah.
and she just knew the whole Airbnb model itself. I didn't know anything about. I was always scared to do it, you know.
Right.
But I was like, well, I got one thing. I might as well try it now. And it's like, always react to what you think. Don't always second guess yourself. A lot of people don't start businesses because they overthink it.
Right.
I did this without knowing what was going to actually happen.
Yeah.
I really did. I had no idea, will this be successful? I just had a couple investors just go, hey, you can Airbnb my properties. Okay. That's how it started. No hesitation. I said, okay, that's fine. Well, you still got to do some background checks. So there is a thing called AirDNA. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I heard of it.
I have a subscription. I pull it up there and I just look at the stuff around there. What are their occupancy? Why is their occupancy rate so low? You go through the pictures and you go,
Right.
oh, I see. They're just not. They don't
Like
have
pulling
everything.
counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you do. And when you do that and you understand it, you can make it a little better. So our occupancy rate is 72 to 83%, which is phenomenal.
And did you want to sign up for your own account, or are you just managing under her stuff?
So you got to give everybody a limelight. And she already has a superhost. Why do I need to be a superhost if she is?
Right.
I'll be a co just to watch everything happening.
Right.
I'm not going to get the reviews from it. I don't care. She's my business partner.
Right.
Like she's the face, you're the one, boom, and
Yeah, who cares?
yeah, she got the
Right.
super host. So
At
just,
the end of
let's
the
just
day,
make it
is
run.
the money coming in.
Right.
Exactly.
Who's got what?
Whose name is on it or whatever? Yeah,
We're
exactly.
all in the same company. you
Right.
know, at the end of the day, we all work together and make it better.
Right.
So you gotta pride. You know, sometimes it's the pride. There are a lot of hosts like I need to be the host and you be the co-host. I've seen that, and it's like whatever makes it work. You know.
Exactly.
But if you're humble, they will be humble with you. And
Right.
there's gonna be some that won't be, but that's the people you stop working with.
Right.
At the end
Exactly.
of the day.
Now,
You
even
know,
with
colors come out.
your search now, so I know you have 20. You started off, you had some people that say, "Hey, Airbnb my property." Now, how do you go about finding an Airbnb now? Like finding
If you had to find one,
like right now, like in 10 minutes, like is there buildings? Is there certain things that you look for? Do you call and ask a certain question?
Well,
like what would be your step?
realtors have an app, right? So if we type in Airbnb friendly, all of them will pop up
Got you.
because it's in a keyword search.
Okay.
But if you don't work with a realtor,
right.
Then
you're
it's
gonna have a
like,
hard
yeah, it's
time
not-
because
okay.
in Zillow and stuff, there's no real keyword search for that.
Yes.
Like you can't type that in; nothing will really show up. You'll get a bunch of.
So if you
jumbo.
type Airbnb friendly, I'm guessing all the people that's maybe doing for sale by owner will like sort of
could
click
be,
that
yeah.
tag on their property.
it could
Like
be,
I don't mind.
yeah.
And now, do you notice, like, is it owned by people? Is it the building that are saying, hey, our building is good, we're Airbnb friendly? Is it both, or is it majority it's owned by
Private.
someone, like a private?
It could be a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's gonna be because there's
It's-
a lot of different avenues
yeah.
for people. The reason why they would even do it, right? But like the one I just took on, he has 187 properties. We're gonna do 25% of 187 properties. That's how many we're gonna Airbnb for him. He's in 6 flats and 8 flats and 10 flats, so he could Airbnb 25% of those properties, and he's giving them all to us.
It's amazing.
Wow.
So, but how did he come about? It's networking.
Yes.
You just got to keep talking about it. If you don't talk about it, no one will ever know you do it, you know?
Yeah.
If you're first starting off, I just been fortunate because I was a realtor.
Yeah.
So if you're a realtor, this would probably be really easy for you. But if you're not, how would you do it? Well, most likely you're going to need one that you did yourself. And I think we talked about this. Probably get your own 2 or 3 flat, right, finance, and you be that experience it, have the reviews, have everything you need. Because if you don't have the credentials and you're going to an investor, what are you really showing them?
Right.
It's just all talk.
Right.
Now you got proof. So you do have to take some risk.
So as far as when you say go get your own, like you mean like, so like say for me, for instance, I want an Airbnb.
By December.
Literally by December, before the year ends. I want an Airbnb by January. My birthday's in January. That's what I want to do.
You could buy your own property.
So I would go by buying it.
Yeah, FHA, 3.5% down. You're gonna live in it, but then you can Airbnb it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that would be so that would be the best route to go. Like, hey,
I mean that's the quickest route.
Okay.
You don't have to convince nobody but yourself.
Right.
And
instead of going through a realtor
like,
and
am I gonna buy it or am I not gonna buy it? It's up
got
to
you.
And now instead of convincing another person on the other end, but now you have a business model because now you own the property. You're gonna Airbnb it. You're gonna actually do it right because it's your own investment. Now you're gonna be careful. Once you perfect that, now you go to an investor like, this is what I got. Come check it out. Right. Now you can tell them, come check it out. Right? And here's my reviews. All of a sudden, they're like, yeah, sure. Where do I sign?
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Always, everything I've ever done, though, I've proven myself first before I react to it instead of trying to get something when I'm not good at.
Right.
I feel like that was kind of the same, too, when I was starting, because Ty, obviously, you know, is you know, the guru on the credit and everything, and it's poured into me, and it's like, okay, how are we gonna do it? I'm not gonna go work on someone else's. No, I worked on mine. I did mine, and I did everything that I know I needed to do. And it's like, okay, now I see the results on myself. I did it with my own self, me as an investment. So now I was able to produce results, and now I have other clients that I was able to, boom, boom, boom. Literally the same thing I did for myself. I was able to duplicate.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna never, man, this is the last podcast I'm gonna shoot before 3 p.m. again. Because I forget everying. Like they build talents.
Before they just moved in there not too long ago. Before it was like a convenience store. Dude had fridges and freezers, so he wasn't ever making noise. Yeah. Then he moved down the hall, and then this unit got in here, and they're literally every day from 9 to 5. It's like
Yeah, but man, people are gonna be so glued to the story. It's like, you know, I'm getting value out of it at the end of the day.
No, yeah, especially what you said. Oh, for the first one, hey, do yourself first before you're gonna go out and, you know, go
you
crazy.
Have to, or else you're
almost doing a disservice to yourself. You know?
Exactly, and you're more confident too, right?
Yeah,
you're being way more confident. I'm like that now. Like it's like. Because I've done it, I've already failed so many times, and I've failed, not really failed in real estate, but all the struggle in the real estate arena, right, and the fighting, like of trying to climb. I've already done it, so now it's like I'm more confident, you know, right? And when you're confident, people gravitate towards that. They do, they truly do. Like when you heard my story that time, you're like, hey, let's do a podcast.
Yeah, man.
You know, and it's like. You talk to me today. We're like, hey, you know, we're cool. Like, you get it, you know? And it's because of the experience in the past and the future stuff that will happen. And all the things that I'm doing now in the future are pretty wild, too. And it's all because it's the right people, the right system, but it's all from experience.
I know you don't work with a lot of first-time home buyers because you're like more higher league, or what would you say?
No.
Like, oh, so
not
don't make that assumption? All right, let people know, like...
When I feel like I've seen homeowners like, man, I'm trying to buy this house and I don't know how I can, you know, buy this house, and I feel heartfelt, right? I have passion in real estate.
Okay.
So it's not just like I gotta sell all $1 million. No, I just recently I just sold a $200,000, you know.
Okay.
And I got them approved, right? And it's just from experience I knew how to get them approved in their home, right? And sometimes it's like. They actually can't even buy a house that looks halfway decent because of their loan limit, right?
Right.
But in a 203K version of it, they can.
Right.
Because now they're going to get something they could actually move in and it looks new, newer, right? So I explained that, but I have the skill set, construction,
exactly.
to understand what needs to be done. And I go, hey, this is what we have to do. This is a $75,000 project. We can get that through a 203K loan with an FHA consultant, and The loan is going to pay for your construction and bring up the value of the home after it's done. So really, you're only paying the $75K. So I guess the prime example is, let's say their loan limit is $300,000.
Okay.
Right? Make sense? But everything we're looking at $300,000 doesn't look right? It's not fitting to that family. So we find something that's $200,000 that needs work. We put $75,000 in. Now they just did $275 and some junk fees, and so let's say it's $300,000. It hits the mark, right? But their home value now is $350, $375.
Right.
So they baked in some equity by the
Yep.
time they're closing.
Yeah.
And they can refi. Do they refi the 203K or they just?
No, it's just a loan.
Okay.
It just becomes a loan at the end, and so at that point, now they got a nice home. They
Right.
went through the construction, obviously, but it's something that fits them.
Exactly.
I like doing that stuff because I like the smiles and
Yeah,
people's faces.
you literally got them into their home that makes them happy. They're comfortable, and it's just good energy at that point.
And the city has a list of the 203K consultants. It's like a short list, maybe 200 people. I'm guessing. I can't remember.
That I don't
But like,
recall, but yeah, it's small.
it's like the city wants, you have to do somebody that's reputable to like
and
oversee the 203K stuff.
Yeah, so there's consultants out there. There's only a few, right? Not a lot of people want to do it because the way 203K loans work, they don't give the money up front. So either the homeowner has to have like 10 or 20,000 to start to give to the contractor up front, or the contractor has to be okay with doing some of the work and then getting the money back out, through the loan, if that makes sense.
But you got the resources for the people that.
Yeah, I have a lot of different ways to get that done.
Right. So if you have someone that can put the 10,000, somebody, or someone that could, they'll wait for it. They're good for
I
it.
got good contractors.
You put it in position
that know the money is coming, and they're in a good spot where they can, do 10 grand or 15 grand up front, and then pull the money back out.
Okay. That's cool. And if they don't got the money, they can come to us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally.
that's what we do. We like to remind people why having credit is so important and making sure your credit score is up to date. Because even people that come to me, they just want a nice car or a house, or they say they want to, quit renting and finally invest. I'm like, have you ever thought of even business funding? You know what I mean? That could even support what you're really trying to do, to get your first couple properties and finance your construction. And now you open the door to do the 203K route, right? So something that we like to do is teach people about credit and funding and business funding. And we have like a mentorship group for that. I know you have an entire team and people that are mentees of yours. How do you teach people, or you have people under you? Do you have any programs going on or anything of that nature? Or
Programs.
or how do people learn from you? Because I know you're like a mentor figure to some people now, right?
Yeah, in real estate, we're 27 agents deep now, and more continuing to join us. But I do a one-on-one training, at least at first, unless they're a producer. So I do have one agent that came in. He's already doing $10 million a year.
$10 million a year?
Yeah,
Sheesh.
sales. So he doesn't need much, but he needs my resources.
Right.
So I'm a media company / prop tech company and a real estate company, all in one. So that's what I offer my agents.
Right.
So we're not just opening doors, we're offering services,
Right.
right? And the services are construction, digital renderings. We are on TV, so we can use that as leverage of, hey, we could put your property on TV, right?
Right.
We do a lot of landing page and lead generation. So we're doing all this stuff with AI. So our CRMs have AI built into it. So it helps our agents when they forget to talk to a client that says, I want to buy a house, but I'm not ready for 6 months. That becomes a problem because you do say, okay, 6 months.
And then you got to remember to.
You got to remember to call them in 6 months. But you might already be busy as heck.
But the AI will
AI will trigger it hey, I just hope you're doing okay. Are you still in
the market?
In the market.
Wow.
6 months later, it'll automatically do that for our agents.
Wow.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah,
I need that.
So but what's crazy about that kind of stuff is after it triggers and it's sent out and they go, no, not interested, or yeah, I am looking in 2 more months, it sends a text message to our phones
Right.
and says, please speak
Follow
to
up
this
with
client.
so-and-so.
Right.
And now it's an active client. So you
Right.
just
Right,
hurry
you
up
get back
and
into it.
Get back in there.
So that's why people prefer to work with your company.
Yeah, we're innovative. I've always, as you saw, my history in the past to the present. I'm always looking for the next best thing, and I'm always taking risks to find it. I've lost a lot of money in finding the right marketing, right? But it's part of doing business, right?
Yes.
Now,
A lot of
this
agents, they have a big problem. It's because they're living commission to, paycheck to paycheck kind of thing. So they get a commission, but they need it, all of it. I always tell my agents, 20% of that, call it burn money. Put it aside, put it in another account, because when you see that all in one account, you're going to want to use it, or you're going to want to save it, and you don't want to touch it. But if you took 20% of it, and it's burn money account, and then the others here, you're only going to think about this, but this one you go, oh, I need to use that up this month on something. I need to market. But if you do that cycle, you will become a successful agent because you're using your money to remarket yourself.
Right.
Instead of using it just on your lifestyle.
I wish more people understood that basic math. Please pay yourself first. That's what they call it. Like, don't spend 100% of what comes in. Like, you gotta park some to the side into an entirely separate account. That blueprint. It's elementary, but man, a lot of people don't understand that concept, and they don't get
reinvest in yourself, right?
Yeah,
like
always.
If you're not reinvesting, you're using every penny you have. I mean, where are you getting your next
Exactly.
business,
You're not doing yourself
you're
the
your own
justice for yourself. Like you're literally stabbing yourself in the back when you do it like that.
I tell my team that. I'm like, even though you're on my team and I'm your security blanket, you're still your own business. You're your 1099, right? At the end of the day. And it's like, I want to help you, but you have to help yourself too.
Yeah.
Right? So I give them resources.
Right.
And then I help them on phone calls with construction questions. These are things that most team leads don't do no more. They don't. They're not in there, in the trenches.
Right.
With them,
They're on the exterior somewhere else,
Right.
And I just, I take pride in what I do, and it's like I try to help everybody I can. So I've always been that way, whether I was in the wrong or, doing the wrong things, or now it's my mind and heart was always the same. I never changed that.
Right. So you got this TV thing. I want people to know how they can follow up and keep up with that show. You can let them know.
Yeah, it's the American Dream TV. It's Emmy-nominated TV series, 5 Telly Awards. I just became a host this year. Right now, we just did our second video, so our first video is already up on there. It's if you click on Illinois on their website, you will see it. We're the first episode. And then our next episode's coming. That one we showcased a $4.3 million home and a golf simulation place in Oak Brook.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool simulation. It actually, like, the floor moves.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're in the, when you're like, I don't even know how to golf that well.
Right,
but that, like, it made me want to golf because the floor is moving if you're on the hill. And so it's like whatever,
Position the hill is the floor is.
The floor is.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? This is crazy. And it tracks your speed, your spin. And I'm just like, this is like super high tech. Like you just know exactly. So you can actually practice there and then go to the range and go to the golf course. After
I thought it was just a projector.
Pro. No, you
and
can
they
be
just
pro.
like
No, this is
No,
like
no,
some
no.
real life
This
simulation.
This calculates your whole body movement.
wow.
And tells you what
Your
you're
hip
doing.
torque, your hip speed, and
Everything.
your whip, whatever.
It blew my mind. It was kind of cool. It's a Korean company. So, Samsung, they're very high tech, right?
Yeah.
So it was a Korean company software that they brought here. And so I know like Topgolf and all that is great, but they're more expensive. This place was only like $55 for an hour. You could have 6 people there.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
way
super cheap. And they have food and
cheaper.
drinks. So
oh man,
I'm going there.
Yeah, I'm about to say we did
Let's
this
go over
weekend.
there.
it's easy to remember too. It's called Game of Iron.
Game of low key, I feel like
Instead of Game of Thrones, it's Game of Iron.
it's in Oak Park. Is it by the
Oak Brook.
Oak Brook? It's by the mall, the mall
Close
area.
to, yeah, it's the business district. Yeah.
Okay, I think I've seen it.
And we got plans this weekend there. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
We're throwing a party there. I'll invite you.
Oh, yeah.
For I think Christmas.
For sure.
I'll be there.
Perfect,
I'll
man.
record it too. We'll come shoot.
Yeah,
Recap.
100%. Yeah, man, I'm excited you came through, man. This is just the first one we're gonna do, and then you'll be on a couple more times, man. Because I feel like a lot of people they wanna learn how to get to your level with it, you know.
Yeah, I have a lot to share about that. I mean, this was just kind of where
The
I
surface,
started.
the scratching. This
Where I started, and kind of a fast forward of everything.
yeah.
But there's a lot of in-depth things that had to be well calculated.
Yeah. So you got the TV show, and you got a bunch of listings right now you're working on.
Yeah, right now we have 53 contracts in, and we have about 27 listings going on right now.
Wow.
And then, I sell businesses too. So remember, I'm not just residential real estate. I do residential, commercial, and business sales. So I flip businesses as well because I've been a business owner.
Right.
So of course people can relate to me.
So you have you have like a Rolodex full of businesses for sale right now, like we can just invest in.
I have it all in a Google Drive, and people buy them all the time. I did about 30 transactions this year in that, and they all range from they range from 200,000 all the way up to 5.7 million.
As far as the businesses that you, okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you're the middleman for some of the businesses.
I like businesses because you could put whatever commission you want. So we say 12% commission.
Wow.
But it's a lot more work, right? Because it's the financials, the intricacies, finding the right buyer that understands the business.
Right.
Yeah, making sure also that business doesn't have no liens or tax or this and in bad credit or bullshit. Yeah.
So you got agents under you that are doing like 10 mil a year, right? What are you known for when you like give out your stats or whatever? Like, as far as like real estate sales,
business.
Okay.
Right
like
now,
the volume and like the real
construction
estate
and
sales.
business. So if you look at my portfolio, it's all investment property, multi-units. I'm really good in multi-unit space.
Right.
Yeah, because of construction, right? And I could just calculate, okay, this one's gonna cost you 30 grand in this unit. This one's 20 grand. This one's 15. And it's like altogether, it's like, whatever it is, 70, 75,000 is what it's gonna cost you to get this operational the right way with the rent.
Yeah.
What is that? Is your
How's that look like?
ROI? At the end of the day. So
okay.
And sometimes we end up now. What we do is we go, hey, also we could just Airbnb 2 of the units for you.
Right. So this is I was even going to ask, right? Because you just made me think of a question because I know that you said, okay, what I'm going to do first, if the first homeowner's loan, do it myself. Could I do that with a multi-unit?
Yeah, 2, 3 flat. Yeah. 2 flats are probably going to be easier. Initially, 3 flat there's a lot of things involved with the rents and all that.
Okay.
To get approved for that loan amount, but a 2 flat is.
But a 2 flat will go.
You say you're living in one, which you still Airbnb because you're living in it, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one, you could do the same thing. And there's a hack to that too, but we'll probably have to.
Oh yeah,
go
no,
into it's a whole other conversation.
I want that hack off when the cameras are off.
There's a whole
get
other
deeper
hack
today.
to that I use. Obviously, that's why I have 23 units right now.
Yes.
Right? And so,
Blowing my mind right now.
Sheesh.
I'm ready today. You don't understand. I'm ready.
So the real estate sales, what's the volume on that? Like just real estate alone.
So I started the company October of 2020. Remember that. So I was a solo agent all the way through till October of 2020.
Okay.
That's what, 3.5, 4 years?
Right.
And then that year I did just 15 million.
Okay.
Right? 21, about 25, 22, we did 38 million, and then this
23 and then 23.
23 I did 44 million, and then 24 right now we're at 62 million so far. So we still got a lot to go, and we got a lot of
60
closing.
million in real estate.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna hit 80 by the end of the year. My goal is 100 mil.
Yeah.
Once I get to 100 mil, I can be a shining star, I think.
For sure.
That becomes the next level.
Yeah.
So I still have projections. I guess in these podcasts, people will see.
Yeah, they'll be able to see your growth. That's the great thing about it.
Like literally,
you know?
the next time we have you on the podcast, We gonna have a couple of units. You gonna be at like 200 mil.
You know.
We gonna have like 10 warehouses. That's the goal. Yeah. You know? So.
And then you still selling businesses here and there, brokering, getting your 12%, and then you got the Airbnb money.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, let's.
And then construction too.
And then construction
Like
too. You know what I
GCing
mean? So
type of stuff.
yeah, man, this is the type of content you can look forward to when we have more episodes. You know, we're gonna wrap this up because his phone's blowing up and he got business to take care of.
Right, he got
know?
business to sell. He don't gotta be time to playing.
Yeah, man. But I appreciate y'all if y'all made it this far in the podcast.
Yes.
You already know where to follow us. You don't know what we do. Right now, we have a lot of great stuff coming for you with our community. School.com/850. We have a lot of value that's coming. That's already in there, but we're doing weekly calls. So we want to remind you, if you're looking to get an 850 score, 850 and funding, all of that good stuff, school.com/850. Link's going to be in the bios. And where can they follow you on social media right now?
That's easy. SpaceMatch, all one word, Chicago, all one word. So SpaceMatch Chicago.
SpaceMatch Chicago. You can follow our buddy Mike here. And you know where you can follow me, Deleteking850, and my boy here with me.
You know, Deletekings CBO.
You already know. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tune in for the next one. Have a good day.
Yes.